we're
Okay.
so are we streaming live, honey? Because I wanted to go over something first.
No,
Okay,
no, we're not.
great. Okay, so is there something is there a particular place where you want me to lead you into that? Is there something
Uh,
in particular you want to get to, or you'll just work your way into it?
I'm going to mention the online course that I have simply because it's the result of the work that we've all done together. And
Absolutely.
show people that it starts with just planting a seed, and this is part of that. And you guys are the dirt and the water and the sun. Like I didn't say that anywhere. It sounds pretty smart now.
Street
Probably should
Smart
have wrote
Diva.
that down. Uh, but we did record it, so who knows?
There
Um,
you go.
yeah, I tried to kind of just talk about a sequence of before and then what happened during. And then although it's been
10 years.
met you folks 10, 11 years. 11 years ago was Go 90 Grow, and then we did the Hawaii. Was that 15 or 16? I can't remember. I think
I
it
don't
was
know
I
if it
think it
was
was
14 or
16.
15.
Oh, it had to be 15. Yeah.
I think
I
it
think
was
it was 15.
15, and then
Because
that's
we
10
were in
years ago.
that tiny room in the Sheridan for the 14.
Yeah,
And then the 15, we went into that big room, and you were in the big room.
I was in the big room and with like Jen Ashley and Derek and Izana.
Yeah.
Izana and I switched meetings and Maria. That's where I met Maria.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Maria.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
I'm
A
I'm gonna
Dejuan.
as we get towards the end, we're gonna make this around 35, 40 minutes,
okay,
or a little bit more, a little bit less. I mean, it's not like whatever. But anyway, so I'm gonna say, so many nuggets here. A big takeaway for me is this. Is there anything you want to add to that? And then I'm gonna end with asking you some staccato questions. Okay.
right. Those staccato questions, those were cool. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
And yeah, I have a lot of notes here, so I'm just going to
Okay.
be super transparent about that. I got them here.
Yeah,
I got
we'll
them.
wing it. That's good. That's good.
This,
You look great. You look
thanks.
I'm
happy.
still here. I
Yeah.
just hid my camera. Let
Oh,
me
you're
know when
good.
you want to go live.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
whenever you're
let's
ready.
go
And
live.
so,
So
are there going to be people asking questions or anything like that?
no,
Not
Okay,
usually,
no,
but you
okay,
no.
never know.
Yeah.
okay. Sounds
Okay,
good.
should I hit record, hon?
I already
You
did.
good.
Okay.
Dave's
All right,
got it.
so let me know when we're streaming.
I will. Just putting a little description in here.
Yeah, I got to go to the hospital last Saturday.
Oh yeah, he
And it
Oh,
almost
yeah.
jumps then
died.
it jump started me with the paddles.
He almost
What?
died Saturday. His blood pressure was 60 over 30.
Is everything? What's going on?
He had a
Obviously, not everything was.
critical he had a critical depletion of potassium. And without potassium, your heart goes into
Yeah.
atrial fibrillation.
Hey,
Yeah,
VFib, yeah, or
AFib.
AFib,
Yeah.
yeah.
He had an
Is
Great.
ablation a couple of years ago, the heart ablation, and he's been great. But
Okay.
all of a sudden, it was
too much working
ambulance,
out.
the whole thing. Yeah. He worked out too much and he sweat too much, and it's been so hot that he
Yeah,
lost
you
all
got
his
to eat those.
potassium.
Yeah, you need bananas, and then you got to take potassium.
I ain't falling for no banana in the tailpipe. Anyway.
Okay, we're preparing to live stream. Thank God you're alive.
Okay, great.
Thank God you're
Okay.
alive. I'm glad you're alive.
Hey, hello everybody. I'm really excited to be here today with a very special guest for me. That's just so fantastic that this relationship started about 10 years ago. So let me tell you about Julie Hoffman. I gotta give you a list of credentials that's crazy, but let's just get to the big punch because that's my personality type. She just recently, and congratulations, Julie, just recently passed over $100 million in deals that she's put together. And that's the glory. So you can check her out at streetsmartdiva.com. We'll get into her passion, but let me just wet your whistle. She loves helping people break through the limitation that they can't get into their first house. And she's just an expert at being able to do that by creating win-win situations. Actually met Julie, we were just talking about 10 or 11 years ago. And so the glory is raising 5 kids, wonderful husband, lives in a beautiful part of Canada where they make lots of progress. Is that how you guys say that? But that's the glory. That's not the story of where we were when we bumped into you around 2014, 2015. So that's the glory. Tell us about the story. Where were you at that point in your life, and what changed for you?
Oh, I was at a very, very low point, a very low point. Previous to that, my husband and I had started investing in real estate in 2001, and we went on to transact. Well, we spent the next 6 years building a really healthy portfolio in Edmonton, Alberta, and another city called Grand Prairie, Alberta, in Canada. And we spent years doing that and also having many children. And we had three. And then we went from houses to apartment buildings, made millions doing that up to 2007. We thought we were so smart. We said, yeah, let's buy 5 more buildings and flip them going into the fall of 2007. And for most of you, depending on how old you are, you know that we went through a severe real estate recession in 2008. And it really started in '07 for people like me and people with land because people just stopped buying. The banks got more expensive. They tightened up their rules. There was a subprime meltdown. Anyway, long story short, it took 4 years, but it took 4 years. We lost everything. And so in that time, although it took 4 years, it should have taken us 6 months. Although it took us 4 years to surrender to bankruptcy and foreclosure, we should have been out of business in 6 months. That's where we became street smart. So Mark mentioned my website, streetsmartdiva.com. We became street smart because we found really creative ways to stay alive as real estate investors. And so by 2012, yeah, I made a very, very difficult decision to enter bankruptcy protection and foreclosure, which it was just hell. And on top of that, we had 5 children by then. And as a woman, as a mother, you know, protect your you're supposed to protect your kids. And I never felt so low in my life. I was drinking too much. I was not treating my body well. I was at a all-time emotional low. And again, after just deciding to surrender, I had an employment opportunity out here in Kelowna, which is they call it Kelowna-fornia. They call it the Hawaii of Canada because it's a beautiful place. And it is. It's absolutely amazing. And we decided to move out here because of a job opportunity. I had a job for about I lasted 8 months. I'd call it 8 months. Before they turned it into a commission only type situation. Fine. It was fine. It was a stepping stone. I know God brought me here. You know, this is part of my hero's journey, as we'll get into probably. And so somebody approached me to do network marketing. And I was like, sure, heck, why not? And it was a company that I think is still around. I'm not sure. But I said, okay, I'll try anything. I saw these people online, the shiny white teeth and fancy cars and fancy hair. And I'm like, well, they can do it. I can do it. Right.
Right.
And so I got in the algorithm probably of network marketing. And that's where I found Mark and Davine for Go 90 Grow program to help network marketers. And when I went out to Hawaii to do this training, I had no business going out to Hawaii because we were fresh out of bankruptcy. I had I barely had a credit card that worked that was able to pay for my plane ticket. It was bad. It was really bad. That said, they saw something in me um, that I really didn't see in myself. And they trained me up on all these skills that I still use today. And so I joined Go 90 Grow and met some amazing people. And just to backtrack a little bit, to go back to the real estate story, I did have this JOB for about 8 months, and then they put me on all commission, and I didn't like what they wanted me to sell. So so I said, well, I guess we're making a go of the real estate stuff again. And when we moved to Kelowna, we found a house that was in foreclosure. And because I still had skills and I still understood real estate, I was very blessed to have a couple of friends buy my house for me. This is the house that I'm in right now. And
Wow.
they bought it for me. And my husband and I did a rent to own to buy it. And it took us 8 years to, we moved in with a 420 credit score and no money, like no money. But we were able to put this deal together, and move our 5 kids over the mountains into a wonderful home. Fast forward a couple months or a year, I'm in Hawaii, Kauai, um, learning these network marketing skills. And I met some amazing people. And at the beginning of that, I started learning all these skills online because of Mark and Davine. They were telling us how to do social media. They were showing us how to make websites. They were showing us how to create email lists. All of this was very foreign to me. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn all this because I'm going to be an awesome network marketer.
Right.
Because that's what Mark and Davine are and were, and now they train people to do it. And really, all network marketing is sales.
Right.
It's sales. And so they help me with so many things, especially what's called a presentation. And my and I'm gonna try to so I'm gonna touch on this now. The presentation part of things is now something I use on a daily basis. The sales strategies I use on a daily basis. It transformed my life, and I met some amazing people that helped me in the network marketing. At least we tried and tried and tried. Some dear friends, Maria and Izana. Um, so they weren't excited about making phone calls, but I was fine with making phone calls. So we would hop on together every single day and we'd make phone calls to try to grow our network marketing company. We made over 3,000 phone calls. So as part of the Go 90 Grow, we got to be in coaching with Mark, where he taught us sales skills and lots of other really important um, aspects to being successful in life and in the world. And I'll never forget. We're in the thick of things. Maria, Azana, and myself. By now, I get to have a coaching call with Mark like once every couple of weeks. And I went on holiday with my family over to Vancouver Island, and we're in Bouchard Gardens, which is like one of the most beautiful places in Canada. And I'm sitting at a picnic table with Mark on the phone, and and Mark's like, "You've made how many phone calls?" And by now we'd made over 3,000 phone calls, following his scripts, following the sales process, trying to do presentations, not having a lot of success at that. And what like a good coach does. By the way, if I look down, it's because I've got notes, folks. Okay, it's okay to have notes, just letting you know.
Okay. Yeah. Cheat
Um,
sheets, right?
right. It's not a cheat. It's not a cheat when you tell people what you're doing, is it? No. Anyway,
No.
um, he says to me, "You've made how many phone calls?" I'm like, "Over 3,000, Mark. I can't figure out what's going on here. How many sales have you made?" Two. One to Izana, one to Maria. Not even any to the 3,000 people that we tried to reach. And he, again, like a good coach says, "Julie, I understand that you want to be good at network marketing, but your results are abysmal." kind of like abysmal. Well, that's a big, heavy word. And 100% true. He was telling me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And he's like, Julie, you've done a lot of real estate. Why don't you take all your challenges and go back in? You know a lot. You must know a lot. You done how many deals? I'm like, 300. What's your volume? About 50 million, 60 million. He's like, nah, you've been through some stuff. Take those challenges and let's figure out what to do. And that is where my website was born, my coaching was born, my online courses were born, is a direct result of meeting these people. And so that's what I did. And they helped me all along the way. Uh, they helped me build an online course. They taught me how to use social media more efficiently and effectively. They taught me how to use the presentation that they have, for network marketing, just convert it over to a presentation for real estate investing. And I use it for everything.
Right.
Absolutely everything. And so since then, I was telling you before, I was lost. I didn't know where to go. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was so depressed. And since going through my time with Mark and Davey, not just with Go 90 Grow, but the Master Key experience, which I'm going to talk about too, I've been able to help literally. My team has, my husband has, like, it's not just me, it's people. Um, I've been able to help dozens and dozens of people get into home ownership just like I did by buying my house, moving into my house with my 5 kids with a 420 credit score. It's absolutely unheard of. And I've been able to help people do that over and over and over again. Not only that, I've been blessed to be able to help people out of a tricky situation because I was in a tricky situation and I had to become the hero, the hero's journey. I had to go out on my adventure and become the hero so that people didn't have to go through bankruptcy. People didn't have to go through foreclosure. I was so blessed. I am, and I was able to help people out of financially traumatic situations. Just recently, I'm telling you, less than 6 months ago, I got to help JC and her husband recover $150,000 from a bad real estate deal that they got suckered into. And it happens, folks. And they swallowed their pride and we worked together and we found a solution. Not only did we help recover their money, we helped this lovely couple become homeowners.
Yeah.
Michael and Trisha, they became homeowners because they moved into this house and they never thought they'd ever be able to buy a house. And we found a way. We worked it out so that it would work not only for JC and her husband, but also for Trisha and her husband. And it's absolutely magical.
Which is great. So
Yeah.
just a quick question, the presentation skills. Would
Yeah.
you say that selling is about technique and what you can get, or it's about understanding human nature?
Yes.
Yes. Good answer.
I'm sorry. That's so annoying.
I
I know
know.
it's annoying. But I mean, I was thinking about, getting ready for today. And if you don't know Mark and Davine, you, you got to meet him. There's this thing that he talks about called PPPP. I think I don't know how many P's it is, but perfect practice prevents poor performance. And
Presentations. Or persistent practice produces perfect presentations.
something like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Did I
Yeah.
practice? So when you're talking about skills, yeah, you got to practice.
Right. But they're based on human nature.
Yeah. So you're gonna suck until you don't suck anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and now I get to help people do that, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then what was the other one you said? I said yes, and you asked me what was it? Is it skills or
if the skills aren't based on human nature, if they're built on taking advantage of someone, which we all know from point 5 of the blueprint builder, I will not engage in any transactions that doesn't benefit all of whom it affects. So one of the things you want to do is get to streetsmartdiva.com, and you can get a free consultation with Julie. And also she has some free courses over there. So you definitely want to visit that. So you talked about, you went through this thing with network marketing. And, I know why people that work hard at the skills don't succeed. Their heart isn't in it. And your heart wasn't in network marketing because it was just about money. Real estate made a difference, but it seemed that the jumping off point was this engagement in the Master Key experience. How
It
was
was
that? How was that for you?
okay. So it was the logical next step from the Go 90 Go Grow training because they had all these master key guides and they were talking about the master keys and it was absolutely crucial. So going through the master key experience, you do all of these, I'd call them tasks. I'd call them establishing habits, changing yourself from where you are to where you want to be through this consistent uh, piling on of good stuff. Wow, that's not a very sophisticated way to describe it. Um,
But it's
I'll just,
accurate.
well, and then you're surrounded by all these like-minded people that are pulling you in the same direction, and then you're being led by all these guides that have been there. And so what I describe it as is the master key. I was led by Carolyn, who's helping me and 30 other people. And my own work was really challenging. It's a lot of tasks. It's like adding a part-time job onto all of the other things that you were doing. And I had 5 kids and I was growing rebuilding a real estate investment portfolio and a coaching business. And I was trying to do and be a wife and keep a house and all of those things and pay the bills and do the Master Key experience. And it was so worth it. I was looking back at all of the declarations that I was making on a daily basis, and I am in the fitness level that I always wanted to be. I'm in the income level that I always wanted to be. I have a 10 out of 10 relationship with all 5 of my children, which is where I wanted to be. So, some of the other ones escaped me, but I had 2 other big ones.
Your
And I'm
husband.
right there. It's 10 years later, but I'm right there. I'll give you an example. My daughter just had a baby on the 4th of July. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Because I live in Canada, but I am American. By the way, everybody, I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado, and I met my husband, who's a Canadian, in Mexico. That's a whole other cool story. Um, anyway, I got to be in the delivery room with my daughter. That is how good of a relationship she and I have. I my grandson's name is Milo, and I got to watch him be born. I got to watch my daughter give birth. And I was talking about this earlier with Mark and Davine. The Master Key experience just planted a seed, and then Mark and Davine and their team, and Heather and Izana and Maria and Carolyn and all of these people were just like the dirt and the sun and the water and the fertilizer and all of the minerals and nutrients that I needed to grow, and they all believed in me.
Right. So
So then,
the idea
yeah,
here is, so the Master Key experience, let's get down to some bedrock here.
okay,
All over the internet, you see, just change your consciousness, get out of your comfort zone. And we all know that that's all bullshit. Okay. And this is leveraging people's insatiable appetite for convenience and instant
hmm
gratification. Nobody wants
yeah.
to be inconvenienced. So the Master Key experience is, would you say it's one of the most difficult things you've ever did? It took what, probably about an hour a day, because everybody knows water doesn't erode rock. Okay. What erodes rock is the consistency of the water hitting it. And transformation takes a real effort. So you saw these videos about the Master Key experience, and we told you in the videos that you have a scholarship to the course. Everybody gets a full scholarship to the course, but the price is an hour a day.
Yeah.
And so you had a decision to make.
Yep.
What do you think triggered that decision? You know, had you just had it with the self-help stuff and all that? Because the conscious mind understands a self-help,
Hmm.
but that's not what's calling the shots. The subconscious mind is, and to go through the course promises that will teach you how to teach your subconscious mind new programs, which you talked about, the consistency, the habit, the tasks, I think you call them. It's new tasks repeated over and over become a habit and create a different program. So this being a wife, mother of 5 kids, trying to rebuild, was this a challenge for you to say, where am I going to find an hour a day?
It was
And was
huge.
it worth it?
It was well, of course, yes, it was a huge challenge, and yes, it was worth it. It's like adding a workout if you're unhealthy, because that's where I was. I was unhealthy. I wanted to change, and it did take time, and it was worth every minute that I spent doing it because just like you said with, it changing rock, it changed me and it helped me develop new habits. And when you're good at, when you're good at creating habits, then you get good at creating habits. It's like
Yeah,
practice.
yeah, exactly. Well, one of the things that we know, um, you see all over the internet these days, take this IQ test. It's all a con, folks. Don't do it. Okay, these 10 questions will tell you what you are. It's just going to lead you to some scam web page. But anyway, to sell you some stuff you don't need. In Dr. Land's study from NASA, it was a study that took place in the late 60s. NASA was looking for geniuses to expand their program. And somebody got the idea to test kids, people younger and younger, and they got to 5-year-olds. And it turns out that 5-year-olds, 98% of them test out as creative genius.
Mhm.
And certainly the work that you did helped you recover, because the school systems and institutions want to
Mhm.
bury that and make us consumers rather than creators. And certainly gone out and created something. I've always felt about you that the real drive wasn't the $100 million that you've been able to turn over, but just the way you just talked about the two couples, that you created this win-win-win situation for everybody, that it's a connection to our fellow man. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what that feels like for you, and how finding yourself rebirthed that in you?
Well, there's 2 days, two most important days of your life. And I can't remember who I'm quoting, but it's somebody smart from a long time ago. But the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day that you discover why. And the Go 90 Grow, sorry, yes, and the Master Key experience helped me discover why. Because now I, you folks helped me launch my first online course, and now I have 10 courses
Wow.
that help people in all kinds of different ways, mostly creative. So I'm not only able to have a direct impact with people that I work one-on-one with, but I'm able to have a global impact because anybody from anywhere can tap into the learning that I have. And that's why we're here, everybody. God made you to make his world better.
Yeah,
And I know that the Master Key experience was an accelerator, and that is like pouring gas on a fire.
yeah. God,
Absolutely.
yeah, one of the things I like to say is that the creator's gift to us was our consciousness, not our
Mhm.
reactive mind, but our consciousness. And our gift back to the creator is what we do with that gift.
Yeah.
And you've done a beautiful job of doing something with it, realizing, that we're all connected. So in helping people,
Mhm.
because it's what we do in the Master Key experience. And obviously you've been able to translate that into what you do in real estate. Let's talk about someone that's renting an apartment and somehow it has in their mind, wow, the houses are, let's say they live in Kentucky, where the average house there is 280,000. So it's not a big thing. But Mary and John, right? They got about $700 in the bank, and they're looking at this $250,000 house, average house in Kentucky, out in a nice little place.
Mhm.
And they say, we'll never have $50,000 to make a down payment. So we can't do it. How do you break that limitation? Is that a challenge for you finding those people, or is the bigger challenge once you find them, how to help them break through that limiting belief?
Well, it's a it's helping them change their language, which will hopefully help change their beliefs, which is instead of saying I can't do it, you say to yourself, how can I do it? And go on Google, go on YouTube, go on, maybe find me, have a conversation with me. Absolutely. Because if I can buy my house for what I bought it for with a 420 credit score, even though it took 8 years, then Mary, what were their names? Mary and
Mary and
Chuck,
John.
Mary and John, even with $700 in their bank account, they can do it too. And so just one thought is you can learn how to find deals. And guess what? Mark talked about uh, I have a link and you guys will all get access to it when you select when you book a time with me or when you opt in for it, then make sure you say, "Hey, Mark, I found out about this from Mark J." Okay, it'll give you that option. And then I have a whole course on how to market, how to talk to people in a street smart way, how to find deals, what to look for, what to look out for. And I can say this with confidence. You may be looking at a house, Mary and John, you're looking at this $250,000 house in Kentucky. Chance, maybe you'll get it, maybe not. I can almost guarantee you there is another $250,000 house in Kentucky where the sellers need to sell. How do I know that? Because I was a seller who needed to sell. I
Wow.
call them motivated sellers, all right? There are people out there, they need to move on. Maybe they inherited a house from their aunt. What am I going to do with this house in Kentucky? It's full of newspapers and bags of cat food. I don't even want to deal with this. You can find out, clean everything out, give it a coat of paint, change out the flooring, put sweat equity in it, come up with some creative terms on how to buy it like a rent to own. 5 years from now, it's yours. If I can do it, you can do it. And let me tell you, that's pretty much what we did here. It wasn't full of newspapers and cat food, but it wasn't in good shape either.
No, I understand. And I think one of the things that you touched on was, you're at this really low point.
Yeah.
Do you find when people uh, are wanting to get into a home, but they in their mind they can't, that it's a low point for them? And is
Yeah.
there some coaching that you help them break through that low point? Because we all know negative thinking leads to negative outcomes. And let me just say this, folks, this isn't one of these things. Oh, just change your consciousness to the vibration of a Ferrari in a house on the beach and they'll just show up. That's all bullshit. Okay.
Mm.
However, um, my experience, tell me what yours is in the real estate thing. My experience is when you are always believing that adversarial situations
Yeah.
are opportunities, then solutions show up. When
Mhm.
you believe this is horrible, then there is no room for creativity. So you're talking about being creative versus creative. And this is what a positive mind will do for you. I'm a big believer that uh, the divine or the creator, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
doesn't speak in words, but in synchronicities. But if I'm not there, if I'm not paying attention, I don't see it. How do you get people to pay attention to possibilities that are struggling to believe that it's possible?
Well, one of the ways is just what you said. I encourage them to pray. Hey, God, you made all this. You made this gorgeous maple tree that I'm sitting here looking at. Can
Yeah,
you help me find a house?
yeah,
And also to just pay attention. And that takes practice too. It's like, oh, am I having a negative thought? Okay. Is it a habit? Is it kind of a curse? And I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus, and I believe that when you've got negative talk happening to you, that's just the devil, and you need to chase him away.
Right,
And believe that God can bring you goodness. That's what God wants to bring you.
right,
And he wants to bring you opportunity, and he wants you to thrive, and he wants you to get that house, or he wants you to be in a better financial situation, or he wants you to be in a healthier situation,
right.
whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. The universe, universal mind, God, whatever you want to call it, and we, you know me, I like to let whatever, let them figure it out up there. Is that whatever we are our own prophet. So if you say, "Oh, this really sucks, I'm never going to get ahead," the universe says, "Okay." If
Mhm.
you say, "Hey, there's got to be an opportunity here," and I think one of the things that
Yep.
makes us has a difficult time. We talk about a great thing, and it's a big takeaway for me. I think it's a great thing to talk about here as we kind of end up. I think it's a huge thing. Is that um, some people are in situations and they're regretting the past,
Mhm.
and of course, it's Emerson said, standing on tiptoes, looking into the future, and uncertainty is always replaced with awfulness because of the way that we've been conditioned. And so we're not in the moment, and we're literally drowning in affluence and prosperity, and miracles are there's no big miracles in the kingdom. When you're in it, when I'm paying attention to the moment, what are your suggestions? Can you expand on that about how to get people in the moment and everybody knows that things work out the best for people to make the best of the way things work out. And that feels like that gratitude foundation. Gratitude, in my opinion, I want to know yours, and we can wrap up on this.
Mhm.
Gratitude is really the foundation for transformation.
Yeah, if you can say thank you. So I'll tell you the way I say it. Thank you, God, for this challenge, because I know once I figure it out, or whatever happens next, I know I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to be able to help other people that end up in the same spot. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be able to do that. Um, Talk to you about these folks. I'll tell you about this other gal. She just bought her first investment property. She kept her old house. She bought a new one. She moved into it and has a basement suite. So she went from one door to three doors. She she 3x'd her real estate portfolio. And now she's a real estate investor. She's also a mortgage broker, and she's also out there talking to a lot of people all the time. So she can help others because she was able to go through, and she went through a bunch of challenges. She had all this self-doubt, and she had she came up against some financing challenges at one point, and it took her some time to fix it. They figured out how to fix it. So now, if somebody else comes into their world, they're going to be able to say, oh, this is what we did, and it works really well. So every curse can be a gift. And so, I mean, okay, can we talk about what happened a week ago to you? Okay, you had a health scare, and it
Yeah,
turns out you were low in potassium. So now, I mean, you've got gifts of infinity of a million gifts, and now you've got that other. It was scary, and it sucked. And thank God you're here. You're still here.
yeah,
And also, you know something that you can share with somebody else to perhaps prevent that from happening to somebody else. So you could look at it as like, oh my gosh, it was so scary, or wow, thank goodness I survived it and I learned from it, and now I live to share this with somebody else in case they may come up against the same situation in a week from now. Who knows?
yeah, exactly. Make sure you drink a lot of water when you're working out. That's what I
And
didn't do,
eat
So
your bananas, take your potassium, and
the paddles weren't any fun.
they're not as much fun as they sound, really.
No,
Uh,
no,
I get that. I get that. Any
no.
trauma, like, man, and it's hard. You know what, folks? It is so hard to believe that if you're sitting in the muck right now. I'll share this with you. Okay. When I was at Go 90 Grow in Hawaii, we were so broke. I shouldn't say that. We were struggling so much. We were having so much financial challenge. At one point, they, because I was spending money in Hawaii and my credit card wasn't sure what was going on, they froze it all up. And that was 10 years ago. It was back in the day where things weren't as digitized. Things didn't happen, in an instant like they
Right.
can now. And I was struggling buying food to eat because I couldn't use my credit cards and I was too proud to ask anyone for food or money. And it sucked. And I was in the muck. And I've been in the muck a lot of times. So if you're in the muck and you're like, yeah, 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 ugh, that'll never happen. I promise you, wherever you're at, if you can look at it, just crack the door a little bit. Say, okay, I'm going to be grateful for this someday for some reason. And and pretty soon you'll discover that that's true. You'll
Yeah.
come across somebody in your exact circumstances, but you've been out of it and you can show them how to get out of it.
Right, exactly. Such a beautiful way to say it. Such a beautiful way to wrap this thing up until we get to our little staccato questions.
All right.
Because there's three certainties in life, which is pain, work, and uncertainty.
Yeah.
And if we're going to experience pain, if we don't do the work, then uncertainty gets replaced with awfulness rather than a sense of adventure,
Mhm.
which is obviously you've made that transition because if we do the work on the pain, we become an asset in other people's lives, maybe helping them through with things we went through, or actually helping them prevent going through what we went through, which is
Mhm.
nice. And it's just so beautiful to see that that's happened to you. And thanks for all the plugs about the Master Key experience, which, by the way, if you're watching this in August, the scholarships will be available at the beginning of September. Get to the Vision Workshop at themarkjway.com. That's a 2-day thing. You get to work with us for 2 days, hands-on. It's no upsells, nothing for sale or anything else like that. And a really good thing, if you're thinking about real estate, you can book a free appointment with Julie at streetsmartdiva.com. And there's also, like she said, there's some free courses there. This isn't a pedal thing because Julie gets the long game, the long
Mhm.
game, the long game. My uncle was in real estate and he helped a lot of people like you get into houses. And we'd go drive through a neighborhood and he said, I sold that house 4 times. I sold that house 5 times. And the guy that I first sold it to, I've sold him 11 houses because he did the right thing. He talked the guy out of a single family house, talked him into a 2-family house,
Mhm.
made a friend. It was an argument, but he made a friend with him, and it helped the guy so much that he still, at the end, still had that 2-family house, which he put his kids in, right? One on
Yeah.
the first floor, one on the second floor. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we wrap up with our little staccato questions. Julie, what's your favorite word?
Jesus.
Jesus. Okay. Your least favorite word.
Um, can't.
What turns you on creatively or spiritually?
The Bible.
What turns you off?
Toxic people, CNN, that kind of thing.
Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, okay. It is my dad. Uh, can I tell you a little story about it? Because
Sure.
um, I'm going to tell you what it is first. It's goddamn son of a bitch.
Okay.
That is from my dad. I said that in college once, and all of my friends looked at me like I was on Mars. I'm like, well, you never heard that? Your dad doesn't say that all the time? Nope.
Beautiful.
Turns out no.
Beautiful. What sound or noise do you love?
The sound of my grandson when he's drinking, when he's having a bottle of milk
The
with
bubble.
me.
Yep, exactly. What
Yeah.
sound or noise do you hate?
Lately when he's crying.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
still can't let that go, moms, right?
It's
Anyway,
once a mother, always a mother. Yeah.
if you had to pick another profession other than your own, what would you attempt?
Stand-up comedy.
You could do it. I remember you sitting in the front row over here and at the front table.
Remember? Yeah.
And after you get over, who is this guy? We really had a great time at your expense. And you turned into a one-woman show.
Ah.
What profession would you never want to try?
Oh. Oh, wow. Uh, oh golly. I don't know. Uh, I don't know, Mark. Does that sound weird? I don't know if I probably don't want to clean out people's septic tanks. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
do that. Yep.
yeah. I don't see
Not
you I don't see you working in a cubicle either.
not oh,
Anyway,
no,
no
no
way,
thank no
no
thank you.
way. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, he's proud of you. I'm proud. I'm proud for you. Not like proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Julie, but I'm so proud for you because we always talk about in the Master Key experience, we'll take a bow for creating an environment, but all this good that's come to you came because you decided to put in the work, right? Pain, did the work, and now uncertainty for you is, gee, I wonder where it's coming my way now, which is a really great thing. So
Uh,
peace, everybody. Get to streetsmartdiva.com, streetsmartdiva.com. Try that 3 times fast after 4 cups of coffee. Anyway, peace and love, everybody.